Hey Brandon, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, doing well. How you doing?
Dude, can't complain about a thing. What's going on in your world?
Just getting more adjusted to the life of three kids around here. So it's a little crazy, but it's all
That sounds
good.
like absolute chaos.
It is. It is most days. So
Hey,
we're getting adjusted, but yeah, all is well.
I feel like everyone and their mom is having a kid right now.
Yeah,
One in
it's a busy
Indianapolis.
time. Yeah, Tyler just had his newborn too. So
Who was
yeah,
that?
it's a busy time. Tyler Lingo.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually just got a photo of his little one today.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, it's that he's in the midst of it right now. I was trying to give him some advice. I'm like, sleep when you can, don't be a hero. All those things that you hear and don't actually listen to, and then you try and
right.
impart on others, and they just are gonna ignore you as well.
Yeah. So your newborn, is it your first or your second
Yeah,
or
it's our
or
first. Now, granted, I don't think we get to count her as a newborn anymore. She's like almost 8 months old now, and
okay.
just like the easiest damn kid. Just like the joke Brooks and I always have is he's got his little bobcat and I've got a princess.
Yeah.
That she just kind of like sits there and just wants to be held and hang out with people. So, um,
Right.
yeah, it's pretty easy by comparison to like the newborn stage. That sucked.
It's definitely one of the tougher ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Flora, how you doing?
Guys, good to see you.
Dude, your midterm rental, I saw it on Furnished Finder, looked freaking awesome.
You already saw it?
Yeah,
Oh,
but I looked at one photo on my phone. Like I didn't actually go through it in detail. Are you share your screen? Let's look at it.
but the thing is, I haven't published it on the community yet. How come you know it?
Because you do you think if anything happens in the off leash world, like especially with Lauren, that doesn't get just like sent out to everybody?
Yeah, I just told Lauren. That's
Yeah,
why.
so she sent it to Paul and me, and
Okay,
so
okay,
we
let
took a
me
look at it.
pull this up.
Yeah, pull it up. Yeah, definitely want to see it. This is one that we did with like our probably the most expensive crew, but also probably the most detailed and capable. So,
Okay,
are you
here
able
it
to
is.
make the pictures bigger on the screen? We're sitting back a little bit.
How about
There we
this?
go. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
but this can only show one picture. Let's go this way. Okay.
yeah, there you go. Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, this is Nick. So we're competitors now officially.
For my Noblesville property.
Yes.
All right.
See, yours is listed as 3,500 unfurnished.
Yeah, we whatever. We're doing so well in the short term that we're not never gonna fill it midterm probably.
Yeah, I heard. I was so surprised that it can do really well in November and December even.
I mean, we've got $4,000 on the books already for December.
I
Dude,
know.
so
I don't
here's I want to shout this out. I think this is one of the coolest. No, yeah, okay, yeah. That shiplap wall with the fireplace looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, I feel like it looks much better in person rather than the photos somehow.
I don't know. That looks pretty bougie to me.
Yeah. So I was showing
Yeah.
this to Kevin and he's like, hey, this is just a normal fireplace. I'm like, no, Kevin, this is really nice.
Don't
Yeah.
listen to Kevin. Kevin doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, he got like a mention in Toronto. That's why he has like really expensive taste, just like Paul.
Paul definitely has expensive tastes. I don't let him and my wife talk anymore.
Yeah. I kind of like the furniture Jenna picked out. I think it's exactly what I imagine it to be. I want it to be like wood and gold concept,
Yeah.
beige.
Yeah, this looks sweet.
Who did the furnishing?
Jenna,
Okay.
if you don't know her.
All I know is that Jenna made Paul want to pull his hair out a couple of times.
Yeah. Well, but to be fair, Paul said is with all designers make him do
Well, yeah,
that.
yeah, all designers are terrible to work with. If you're the contractor, because they have to be struck with the artist's spirit, and so it can take a while to get responses on things.
Yeah, so Jenna is like, so she's gonna put like also a fire pit for the winter. The sofa is just for the pictures. It's gonna get removed to the garage.
Fire pits are really pretty cool. We've got one in one of ours in Fishers, and it is consistently said like that's one of their favorite.
I think it's Unique that told me like this plant is expensive here.
No, I did not. Paul, I think, said that.
Oh yeah. Also like Jenna's dad built this wooden box under the trim.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
looks.
yeah.
I think it would have looked better with white doors, though. I think that beige though is just not the color.
The white
This is what I told Paul too.
really?
And I love it.
No, no, I'm not with you, Lauren.
No, Mila, you're banned.
Honestly,
Okay, I'm fine.
giving you a hard time, Flora, because I happen to know that was quite the consideration, the level of beige.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean the white door inside or the front door here?
No, I was talking about the beige doors. I was saying that they should have been white, but I'm just giving you a hard time.
No, the beige is the best. I'm with Lauren here.
Yep. Mila's against us, but that's okay.
Here's what matters, Flora, is that you're the homeowner. It's important that you like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very beautiful furniture. What a nice job.
Yeah, seriously, it looks really good.
Yeah, very good. And location. Mm.
I know you really can't beat that location. No.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Funny
but
enough, guys, Align just hopped on the call. We're concluding a flip that's just a matter of blocks from there that he actually sold us.
Dude, I saw those pictures. It's looking solid.
Yeah, it turned out well. The Grant Street. Lauren, are you willing to share a couple photos of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one turned out super nice. We accepted. I think it took about 2 weeks to get an offer. A little bit less than we were initially like the asking, but funny enough, it was the exact number that that we put in our projection when we were analyzing it to buy from you, like to the penny, the exact dollar amount.
Nick,
Dude, that's freaking wild, man.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay, well, fingers
believe it.
crossed nothing comes up, of course, all the way to closing, but I highly doubt anything would.
Well, the inspection's already been done, so we've already done the inspection response and all that. And Paul was out there fixing a water heater this morning.
Okay. Dude, look
Wait.
at that.
Hey, Lauren, do you want to tell the story of the water heater?
No, we really don't.
Oh, I love the story of the water heater.
What?
That's
So-
hilarious, dude.
So we needed a water heater on this, and Paul was mad because he has obviously installed a lot of water heaters in his life, and he did not agree with the contractor's price. So Paul, being Paul with his ego, was like, I am installing this water heater. So he goes, does it, installs it, and he is telling us he was excited that he got to do something, and he got to be hands-on or whatever. And we were all on Zoom together on our meeting, and it was either Brett or Nick goes, wouldn't it just be so funny if the inspection response comes back and like everything with the water heater is wrong? And we were all like laughing, and Paul's like, shut up, everybody. It's going to be perfect. There's not going to be absolutely nothing on this inspection response that has to do with the water heater. And so we got the inspection response, and I was telling Flora the other day, this is probably one of the weirdest inspection responses we've gotten in a long time. There was just like a ton of really tiny things The inspection came back. There was nothing red on the inspection. Everything was like yellow, which was great. Obviously, that meant our contractor did a great job. And what they did was they just took everything that was yellow on the inspection and they just copied and pasted that exact wording onto the inspection response. So there's 47 items on the inspection response, and 2 of them had to do with the water heater. So we all made fun of Paul, but the best part about it is there was absolutely nothing in Paul's control wrong with this water heater. They had said that they didn't like the manufacturer's pipe that came with the water heater, and they wanted it replaced with a bigger pipe. And what was the other thing they said? They said something else.
You need conduit around the.
Yeah, I needed conduit around the thing. So basically, we have been telling Paul that he has failed miserably at his job, even though he had no control over it, and he had to go back out and replace it.
Lauren, don't lie. I'm sure Paul actually installed a water softener and mistook it for a water heater. That's actually what happened.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a good. We gave Paul a run for his money in the last week, and we'd like to remind him at any chance we get, we'd like to remind him that he got an inspection response back on his work. So
He installed one thing and had 2 inspection responses.
Wow.
I just want to let you all know that I've emailed that inspector,
yeah,
and I want to have a
Jesus
conversation
Christ.
with
Wait, no, did you really?
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, thank you. He's gonna come back out for the reinspection.
I'm gonna do it after the house is sold.
I mean, in
Yeah,
all
when this
fairness,
is all done,
that's
feel
kind of
free.
bullshit.
no, it was. Let me stop and share my screen, and I'll actually show you because I just sent it in. I just sent the pictures today. Sorry, guys.
I just want to make it clear. I just want to make it clear that the pipe came with the water heater.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So hold on. Did you guys concede and Paul actually had to change the pipe?
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Man, that is
Well, no, we
bullcrap.
pushed back. Hold on.
Yeah,
No,
Well, we pushed back at first, yeah.
we pushed back and we're like, this is what came with it. It's rated for this. It's good. And the inspector then called the agent. Was like, that thing's gonna go up. That thing's gonna explode.
Really?
And so
Yeah.
like,
Which one's the pipe?
like-
The blue one?
Like, call the company.
No. So the
Is it-
blue one is actually the blue one is covering the electrical that goes into it, even though the electrical is siliconed wrapped, which didn't need that to begin with.
So this is
The
the
pipe-
cover that they were talking about.
So, and then the pipe is actually that one right there.
Oh, I see that thing right there.
So basically what that does is just bring water up, takes a little bit of the pressure off. And the guy said, if that pipe is not corrected, that thing will rocket through the roof. I have the
Really?
audio recording of that.
The guy actually said it would level like a city block if it didn't get replaced. This will take out a quarter of Noblesville if this pipe isn't replaced.
Yeah. So both of these things not in Paul's control, but he put a sleeve on this guy and then he switched out this pipe here. So I sent those to the agent today, and we'll get the rest of the inspection response taken care of. But we just conceded to it last night, and Paul went ahead and did it today because he wanted it out of his mind. So I'm sure he loves the fact that we're rehashing this a couple hours later.
we love you, Paul.
We do. What would we do without you? Yeah. So, yeah. So Paul won't be swinging hammers again, right, Paul?
What?
I said you're gonna stop swinging hammers for a little while.
Sure.
And don't worry, Paul. He who laughs last laughs best, right? Or at least I think
Yep.
that's how it goes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, either way, happy for you guys down on that project. Yeah, Nick, awesome stuff, man. Good, glad to hear that.
You
It's
gotta go
coming
find
through.
more in Hamilton County for me.
Dude, they're tough, right? I mean, at least for me, it's hard to find up there. But
Go-
yeah, for
go
sure,
find
man.
something in Westfield. My mother-in-law really wants an Airbnb right there because I think she's sick and tired of staying in our house.
I see. Okay, all right, then it'll have to be one
I-
specifically for her.
I love my mother-in-law. She's an incredible woman. I want no guests in my house.
So Westfield, you said Westfield it is?
Yeah, well, because we can't short term in Carmel. So Keystone
Yeah.
area, like basically just get near my house in Carmel.
10-4.
Once you buy
10-4.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you to delay that as much as you can, so the pressure on my shoulders is not as bad.
Mhm.
I'll have pressure from Nick, his mother-in-law, and most importantly, his wife.
Elaine, what's the story behind how you got this house, this Grand Street one?
Oh, good question.
What was it? It was, I mean, it was from one of my taxing campaigns. I guess there's not really like any deep kind of story, but I'd been in touch with the guy for quite a little while. He originally just wanted way too much, and yeah, I mean, just over a couple months was able to eventually get into a price that made sense for everyone. So I guess no incredible story, just another regular seller that turned out to of course work out to be a deal. He's got
Well-
another one. Actually, Nick, I think I ran it by you, but it was pretty remote. I ran it by a couple people. I think it's too remote of a property for most folks.
Yeah.
And on that one, he's honestly wanting too much. But yeah, he's got another one available. He just wants too much. And honestly, I think it's one of those properties that's just very difficult to comp.
Yeah. Well, and here's what I'll tell you guys. We went into this property. This was one where Paul, I'm pretty sure this is the one that Paul had to break into a window because the lockbox didn't work or something like that. Sorry, I'm getting an open phone call. Let me just turn that off. How do I like,
It
make that
was.
stop?
Yeah, Nick took the broken AC unit off and he wiggled through the AC window.
Wait, are we talking about grants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't access through the front door by removing a board?
The screws were stripped.
Oh,
Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because I could have sworn that's how I got in there for pictures
Yeah.
and stuff. But anyway,
Paul crawled through a window, put together a scope of work for us. You know, we realized that all the tax records and everything were wrong. They had it as 3-1. It was actually a 4-2, that whole thing. But one of the things that happened during the process, and again, guys, I think this is super important to remember, even when working where you think there's a ton of fat on the deal and everything like that, what ended up happening, we did a mainline inspection, and the mainline was collapsed, and so or had severe offset issues, if I remember correctly. And so unfortunately, we had to go back to the line and be like, hey, like, really sorry, but like we're gonna need a discount. And this is the advantage of working with somebody who's kind of a good player in the space. A line, I think you went back to the seller. He pushed back, and so there was like some level of give there between your commission on, or not commission, spread, and the seller and all of that. And so it's really, really important, guys. Like, I know what the hell I'm doing. I had Paul walk this house. He went through and put together a scope of work for us in advance. But there are things that even Paul can't see. No contractor is going to be able to see during that process. So just make sure you're doing all the CYA things.
Nick, on that note, who did that line for you guys? Well, I'm assuming you guys ended up doing the line, of course. Who did it? Was it Paul?
I'm gonna have to look back.
Did you guys get that? I think I recommended you, at least the guy that went out there to scope it.
But yeah, he did it. He was a lot cheaper than the guys that we had quoted out.
Oh yeah, so Steven Thrasher did it.
Yeah.
It must have been him. Yeah, A Plumber Near Me, I think, is his company. Funny enough, his wife works for New Western. She's she's Sam Huselman, I think her last name is on. Is that right, Brooks?
Yeah, I get a lot of her stuff. I haven't dealt with her at all, but I see a lot of her stuff.
Yeah, so Steve is her husband. Anyway, Nick, yeah, I think that's why I was like, hey, you guys should like talk to Steven. And he came out, and I think he was on that scoped it, and then mentioned that it might have even gone into like the street. So I don't know if that's something also that ended up, playing out for you guys. But yeah, those are those anxiety inducing news that one gets during a deal. It's like, yeah, so there goes, 10K more on that line replacement. That's going to be a fun conversation to have.
In this entire situation, Align, is the buyer didn't end up even doing a mainline inspection.
Oh, you're talking about the final buyer?
Yeah.
Oh, so he could have kept it, and then it would have been what it. Yeah, exactly.
In theory, yeah, we could have.
Yeah, in theory, of course.
But again, that's not the way we play ball.
No, of course not. But God, yeah. Well, I mean, it's a first time home buyer, maybe second. Like no one's probably
Oh,
thinking about
trust
that,
me,
right?
this inspection response that we received, this is definitely a first-time home buyer. Like, this is the kind of shit that I wouldn't have done on my first deal, and I was the most scared buyer in the entire world.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally, there was like a little piece of wood missing on the bottom of one of the doors, and they quote like everything, everything was like
Paul,
not a
how'd you miss
part
that piece of wood, Paul? God, man. First the pipe on the water
probably
heater.
50 cents.
I forgot my
Like
glasses at home that day.
the paint color came back on the inspection response. If the
It was
paint
damn
doesn't get
close.
changed, it's probably gonna blow up overnight or something like that.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'm an inspector.
My God, I'm making shirts that say that. Trust me, I'm an inspector.
Yeah, source. Trust me, I'm an inspector.
Next
It does
one.
make it a lot easier on us though, like when Paul goes and looks and like, here's why we need it lower. Then we can go to the seller and be like, hey, we're not just bullshitting you, basically. This is a licensed general contractor saying like we estimated 60, it's actually gonna be 80. Sorry, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what's going on.
yeah.
It makes it a little easier on us to go back when you have somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun getting on the phone with Scott on that one. I do remember we had to like negotiate some like pricing and of course I came down on some stuff and whatnot to make it happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, everyone just wants to get it through the finish line, of course.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like we just came to you and we're like we only ever negotiate, particularly with somebody like you, on the stuff we couldn't have known. Like,
Yeah, of
we've done
course.
our homework, and like if we'd come to you and said, "Hey, the flooring looks like shit in there, man. Like, I need you to drop your price," you would have been like, "Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
you knew that. You walked it." But the things that I couldn't have known are like, and now one of the things that I do occasionally teach, my students is like, you can't assume everything's wrong with the house. Like, if we can't see the electrical for whatever reason, you can't assume every time on your initial offer that the electrical needs to be redone. Even if you think there's a high likelihood, you probably have to go and use the second negotiating period in order to do that. What's your take on that, Align, as a wholesaler who does a decent volume out there?
On which part specifically? Like
Just like,
assumptions on the front end?
yeah, like how do you balance like trying to give you a realistic offer versus like where we think we're going to land versus like kind of understanding that there are two negotiation periods in every deal?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, so I guess phrase it differently because oftentimes, of course, there's going to be a lot of buyers involved, right? That are interested. So,
Okay.
as I mentioned before, like the wholesaler is always looking for a bunch of different things. Like, of course, like you want to be able to get a good deal in general for yourself. So price wise, that's in your consideration. But then also knowing your buyer and reputability when it comes to that and ease of working with them, all those things like that plays a huge role into how to offload a deal. Like I'd probably offload a deal to a buyer who I've done business with at a lower price than working with a potential new buyer that I might be a little bit skittish about just because of the maybe headaches that can come up on the back end. So again, I don't know.
I can't get access to your home for whatever reason before I get it under contract. Okay. So I'm looking at photos. I have a really solid idea of, hey, this is going to be about a $50,000 project. I think that there's a good likelihood that this house needs a rewire. I can't tell based on the photos, but just my gut's telling me that it's going to be another $6-7 grand for a rewire of this house, on top of that 50. But I don't know, and so I have an inspection contingency with you. How do I best work with somebody like you to basically like get across the finish line? Because if I assume that there is going to be a rewire required, and I just say, hey, my offer is based on the rewire being required being $7,000 lower, I might not get in the door. I might not get the opportunity because you'll go with somebody who's not making that same assumption, even if they're going to have to do that work and they're going to have to renegotiate later in the process. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. I don't think I've come across that, to be honest. going back to what I mentioned originally, it would be a matter of considering what else is on the table and knowing
Yeah.
exactly who else is making those other offers. It's not unreasonable by any means. It's something I would consider, but it weighs heavily too in when it comes to who else I might potentially be working with and what that offer is structured like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if that's something completely reasonable, that's something not something I would shy away from in accepting.
Yeah.
Without
So
a doubt.
recommend somebody essentially come to you in that situation, and because we've got several investors who are newer. Now, I wouldn't say anybody here, doesn't have any experience, but newer investors. They came to you and said, "Hey, based on the photos, based on talking to my contractor, we think it's $50,000. If there's a rewire required, it's going to be 57. So, like, here's my initial offer. If it comes back that a rewire is required, like, I just want to be very honest with you. If there's knob and tube, it's going to be, my offer is going to be a little bit lower."
Of course. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fine. If it's something that
think
seems to make sense to them. Yeah, go ahead, Brooks.
I say I think that's perfect actually.
Just being
What
transparent on the front end.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would think so too. Now I try to get those things clarified prior to.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, a contractor is going to have to open up a wall, I suppose, if knob and tube isn't obvious in like the basement or something like that, or just have another means to get that clarified, which is something I try to provide prior to, anyways, if I can. But yeah, if that's something that comes, same with like for you and the main. Like, I'm not going to go run a scope down there when I'm just taking pictures for my deal, but I understand if that's something that comes up, then it's like, all right, well, this is very reasonable. And at the same time, it's also something very reasonable to go to the seller to.
Yeah.
So on my end, it's the same thing, right? I could then say, hey, look, we had the main scoped and here's what's going on. So what can we do about this? I think reasonably, of course, here's a quote for replacing the main. So this is why we're coming down and why for that figure. So yeah, it's an annoying not an annoying conversation to have. I guess what I would say is like that seller is never going to be happy with that surprise. Reasonably so. I wouldn't be either in that position. But at the same time, like expectedly, if that happens, then I mean, it just kind of is what it is. My last hold that I bought like about a year ago, I actually almost didn't scope it myself before closing, and I ended up doing so. And sure enough, it had a collapsed main, so I had to replace that too. So now it's like you never forget when that happens, right? And moving forward, you're always going to do it because that's a pretty shitty surprise to get. Yeah, but to what Brooks mentioned, 100%. I mean, I think it's very reasonable to pose it that way. Now, if I have 5 other offers, and maybe it's a seller I've worked with before, and you're saying this from the point of view of someone that's new working with me, yeah, maybe I'd give more weight to the other offers simply because of that. But by no means is that unreasonable. I think that's something that I could completely accept and could understand where the buyer's coming from when they present it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, we actually have 2 what I would call boutique wholesalers here on the call. They're not like the new Paradox or the mainstays that do hundreds and hundreds of deals every year. These are guys who do that are involved in like kind of every step of their wholesale process for each of their respective businesses. Do you have any questions specifically for like these wholesalers who are kind of crushing it in their own ways?
Who else is on here? Who's the other wholesaler in here?
Oh, Brooks.
Is it? Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, I mean, Brooks, I know you're an agent too. Actually, we've been trying to connect.
We've been trying to link up here for
ironically
a couple months now.
Yeah, exactly, dude. I know I told you I was going to be in Brazil for a bit. Anyways, tangent, but yeah, we'll definitely have to link up in person too at some point.
Yeah, man, let's get that on the books here soon.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick, since he was right next to you, I assumed you were talking about someone else that was on here.
What's the GiulianiZoom.com?
Yeah, Giuliani Zoom. Yeah, any questions for these guys who are kind of operating in that world a little bit? All right, well, then I'll ask the question while you guys think of yours. Like, what are you guys seeing right now? Obviously, interest rates are kind of funky. Inventory is rising. What are you guys seeing from a wholesale availability?
So for me, as I mentioned prior in other calls with you, Nick, like my main source has been like text message marketing. which is running into a lot of like regulations and other complications. And for different factors, like I'm stopping that lead source and having to look elsewhere. So I'm in a little bit of a limbo space right now, trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing, like starting in 2024 and what marketing is going to look like. But I guess what I can say, for me at least, it seemed to have slowed down the last couple months when I was still texting. Deals have seemed to be a little bit harder to move on my end, and I think that just makes sense because on the back end, the market's just a little bit wonky, and especially right now with winter, it's probably a combination not only of the regular slowdown during winter, but just limbo. I think there's a lot of uncertainty with how the market's going to be looking next year, so that's probably affected things too. But to answer your question, overall, things have been slower in my opinion, and it's been harder for me to find deals as of late.
Yeah. How about you, Brooks?
I'd say the same. Especially if you're going to go outside the loop, we're not finding really much at all. Inside the loop, we're still getting some here and there, and we're not doing texting either right now because, with like Elias said, like the regulations that just came out. We actually have just went all in on cold calling, which has been really good. So far, a lot better response rates and everything like that. But we're kind of in that weird, like we're a little too high on the seller side, or a little too low on the seller side, a little too high on the buyer side. So we're like, if we can get a little bit lower, but it's a deal for both sides. We're kind of right on that tipping point here on a lot of these properties. So but I mean, every once in a while, we're still finding home runs here and there. For some people looking to do certain strategies, but I mean, yeah, for the most part, it has slowed down a little bit on our side as well. So I'm seeing a lot of the same as the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm closing two with the same seller this coming week, and then hopefully one in Chicago that came about randomly through another means. I like a guy in Phoenix randomly cold emailed me, and it turns out that he's got connections to banks. So I'm trying to milk that if I can with like nationwide properties. But yeah, other than the two that are just closing here that I've been working for like a year. That's another thing, by the way, guys, for people that haven't like wholesaled before. Sometimes you get deals that close like a year and a half later after working that lead for forever. Yeah, I think the last one I closed was maybe about a month and a half ago, and have just had a few in the pipeline. And Nick, I don't know if you knew that, but like I think I mentioned prior to that, I used to work with another guy here in Indy, and then he branched off because he wanted to do something else. We had I had a random seller call me too from that business, and we were able to buy and list the property. So we might have that one closing too. I'm thinking December is going to be okay for me, but not because of like recent stuff, just stragglers that are just finally coming around, which sometimes happens.
Pipeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
For us, we have a guy that does just some flipping, and he wants to be under 200 grand, but he's okay taking a pretty marginal spread on things. Like if he can make 10-15 grand and be in and out of there in 15 or in 30 days, he's cool with that, which is good for us. He's more of a volume based guy.
Yeah.
So, but he's very niche on like what he wants. So he's good to deal with. It's just finding a property for him that meets his criteria. But he kind of gives a little bit on his side on his spread, because he wants to do at least 10-15 deals a month. So he's trying to let the volume take care of everything.
It's a lot of volume.
So
Dude, that is a lot. Holy
Yeah.
shit. That sounds overwhelming actually.
it's just hard to find the property that meets what he wants. I mean, he's got certain specific things that he
Husky for that name
he won't deal with.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask you for that name off the Zoom. Mila, what question did you have there?
So,
Oh,
yeah, I had a question. So Brooke mentioned that there was a regulation about what? Not allowing texting anymore. Is that right? Did I get it right? Can you expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, there's something that just passed where basically they're putting a bunch of regulations on cold texting people. So you're probably going to see a lot less of it.
Thank God.
Or you have to jump through some hoops to make sure that you're doing it correctly.
Brooks, have you guys bothered looking into it or no? Like literally the legality of it?
I haven't dissected it yet. I mean, we probably will in the future, but we're not going to do that until after the new year. I'm not.
Yeah, I was thinking of actually reaching out to an attorney to like get guidance on that.
Yeah.
But there's just too many Yeah, there's a bunch of like hoops that are frankly pretty annoying, I suppose, if you want to call it that. They're very limiting. So yeah,
Align, like,
yep,
as the person who receives these text messages, not from you personally,
yeah,
I'll tell you, I'm considering changing my phone number because of this.
yeah, dude.
Because of you. You are the
Yeah.
problem.
It's literally just me. I'm just like every time, like let's load up Nick on here again.
Yeah.
Just say it's another name.
How many random phone numbers can text Nick today?
Exactly, dude.
Or even making it
Yeah.
kind of hard to like text people that you've just like cold called. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you've had like communication with them, and I don't know. It's there's I haven't looked in, like Elian said, I haven't looked into it fully yet, but it's, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mess with it until I know and I get a little bit more understanding on it.
Yeah, the main thing apparently is you can't text unless people opt in. So you're not able to get a list and then mass text, which is one of the main things. Other than that, there should be like specific language in the text that allows you to either opt
Yeah.
out or not, which is fine. It just like looks very spammy, especially when
Yeah.
you're not very wanting to, like, it's not an auto-generated message or anything that's spammy like that. So I think response rates probably would plummet given that. And you probably see it with other industries. I get them from like insurance agents and a bunch of that. It's like to reply stop or out to opt out. It's that kind of stuff.
I think they even want it
So-
like on, you might want you to have a website that has it listed somewhere
Yeah.
too. And it's
Yep, exactly. At the end of the day, apparently the gray area is that you're not soliciting because you're not selling something or asking someone to buy. You're the
Yeah.
one asking to buy something from someone. So my understanding is that that's where the gray area lies, where it's like, well, we don't fall under the category of texting to solicit or try to have someone buy a service or a product. We're the ones asking to buy something from someone. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's more of like the legal thing that I wanted to get cleared up. Because Nick, I get your point and I get them too. And yeah, frankly, I guess they are annoying, but at the same time, they are effective.
Oh, totally.
And it's the same thing like with cold calling, right? I probably get more calls than text, to be frank. Anyway, yeah, just
Oh, yeah,
another
no,
one.
I don't pick up my phone if I don't recognize the phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've learned my lesson. I've got
Yeah.
focus set up for that. Christina's asking an interesting question. Do you guys see a lot of seller financing in Indianapolis? I'm gonna throw in seller financing and subject to, given that that's kind of a related financing option.
I see a lot of people asking
Yeah.
for our deals, but I mean, I wouldn't say I've done a ton of it. I don't know. I mean, just
Yeah,
because
same here. I think I've mainly done one or two. Like I offer it, but most sellers don't typically take it. It's rare that you see a seller, at least in my experience, go that route as opposed to just a cashing out option.
they'd have to be in pretty dire financial times to do it around here, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like they'd have to be in a powerful position, no? Because they've got to have a lot of equity, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if they don't want to, if they don't feel like they can pay the bills anymore or something like that
That's fair.
as well. Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of it, but like Elian said, I try to offer it, and I have buyers that ask if it's possible, and I'll try, but it never works out really.
Christina, what I'll tell you is I list a decent number of properties a lot of the time, and my agent, their obligation, they must disclose every offer that you receive. They have to. Otherwise they are not acting as your fiduciary and can be sued and can lose their license. I would say for every house I put on the market, I get 6 to 7 like seller financing, like full price offers, but they want 2% down and they want me to finance it at 2% annually for 30 years, like just crazy terms, such that I now have an autoresponder to my agent whenever, like literally whenever his email to me says seller financing or seller finance, it auto responds with a middle finger emoji.
there is an opportunity on the west side of Indy for maybe some people who can't qualify for a loan as far as retail buyers. If you actually have the cash, you own the property cash, and you are looking to sell or finance it out instead of rent something out, there's an opportunity there. But I mean, that's
So let's talk about that real quick, because I think that's interesting. I didn't quite understand this world until recently. Something that seems to be an opportunity if you have a decent amount of equity and you want a decent return is to buy a property in, like you said, on the west side, something that is a little bit entry level, to charge a little bit more, take a significant down payment of 20, 25, 30%, and then seller finance the rest of it at 12%, 10, 12% is totally within the realm of the possible. There are quite a few undocumented individuals here in Indianapolis who are looking for a way to get on the property ladder.
and some aren't. Some just have a ton of cash sitting.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so there are opportunities. If you want to essentially act as the bank, you can do quite well in that world. If you look at a company like Simple Wholesale, they have built their business on a decent amount of that. A lot of the crap that I looked at over the last 3 or 4 years, where I'm like, how the hell, like, why did they buy this? Why are they wholesaling? Like, I need a 25% discount in order to even consider this deal. They're ending up going and selling this to home buyers and seller financing it. And then in a lot of cases, they're actually selling that note on the back end.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And so, and recycling those funds, and able to go do it all over again. So there is a decent opportunity if you want to act as the bank and you want to do the seller financing.
Yeah. I've done 4 of these.
I really understand.
Yeah, I've done 4 of those. I second that. They're pretty solid.
About those and like the process and who's buying those and that entire situation.
Yeah, most of the individuals that I've worked, actually no, all of them before have been Latino buyers. So I've worked with Luis Coronel a lot on these. Him, Libertad Real Estate does them quite a bit, and I'm spacing on one more, but I've worked with Luis on them a few times. But yeah, it's essentially that. I mean, you can usually ask for a bit of a premium on the property because it is being seller financed. So you could potentially sell for a little bit more than ARV. Down payment, of course, is negotiable like any other thing. A lot of people like to give bigger down payments so that the payments are lower. And as far as financing, from my understanding, last time I did one, the market rate is at like 12% for those deals. I've been selling them at
1, 2?
Yeah, 1, 2. I've sold mine at 10. I usually just keep it at 10. I think the first one I did was at 9 a few years back. But honestly, the only downside is, okay, part of the potential risk that the person stops paying and you maybe have to evict them or do a foreclosure on them or something like that. Really, the only other downside I'd say is B, you lose the asset. So if you want a rental to keep for the foreseeable future, this is something that you eventually lose because it's a note that gets paid down. But other than that, everything's on upside. You don't have any management expenses. You literally are, like you said, the bank. So it's like you and your mortgage with Chase, where the bank doesn't really ever hear from you, or you don't call them to fix your toilet. So it's the exact same thing. So that's awesome. It literally is mailbox money at that point. And as far as structures, I've done both the land contract and the note and mortgage. And I think the note and mortgage is a lot cleaner. And that's probably what Simple is doing, what they are then selling on the back end themselves, because they go ahead and sell the note. It's a lot harder to sell a land contract than sorry, Nick.
Can you talk about the difference between a land contract and a note mortgage?
Yeah, I'm not incredibly versed on this and familiar. The main difference is that the land contract stays in your name. So the deed doesn't transfer when you sell on land contract, as opposed to when you sell on a note and mortgage, the note does transfer, but then the mortgage just gets recorded as a lien on the property. I like it. I think it's a lot cleaner. Also for reasons of like taxes and all that stuff, they deal with it because it gets sent to them, not to you. I've personally done both. So like I figured out that was kind of a pain in the butt to have to deal with the land contract side of things. But yeah, the noted mortgage, I think it's a lot cleaner of a solution for the seller finance side of things. And then if you were to sell that note, I believe it's also a lot easier on the note marketplace to be able to sell that, which I haven't done, so I don't have any experience with that. It's just what I've been told.
Who do you have service your loans on those, or do you just do it yourself?
No, Mountain States Escrow. They're out of Arizona.
Yeah, that's who yeah. They're like what, $75 a month or something, or 100, I forget what it is, something like that.
No, dude, for them to do that, I think it's $9 a month, dude. Maybe 10.
What it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, you're getting you're getting taken.
hosed, it sounds
You're
like.
getting hosed, dude. Yeah, you're getting. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I don't think they're probably charging you $100 per thing. I literally think my statement's like $10 for the
Yeah.
servicing, unless they're doing something else for you too that they're not doing for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So we got a question from Christina. Curious about those sellers who own a lot of properties and want to lessen their tax implications on those gains. Basically, they have so much property and equity that they don't care about income. They care more about minimizing taxes. Is that something you guys have come across?
That's actually what I stress when I offer like seller financing. Like, hey, instead of like taking a big tax hit on cashing out, you
Yeah.
might just want to continue getting money over time and sell for a higher amount. That way you don't have to pay Uncle Sam a ton on the sale right up front. Again, I haven't had people bite yet, but I'd say I guess that I don't really know how else they'd be able to minimize that if they really are just going to cash out their equity right up front.
And Christina, realistically, most of these people who have built up significant portfolios are going to be a little bit more sophisticated in most situations, and they're going to understand like the 1031 exchange and things like that, that you trade up into higher end assets, better assets over time. Like I know, you can definitely sell the fact that you're spreading out your tax payment over time, but I'd rather not pay that tax ever if I have the choice.
It's more
And-
for a mom and pop.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, in my opinion, for a mom and pop investor who's like, I'm done being a landlord, I'm retiring, moving to Florida, and that's the only one I've really had success with. Other than that, same what Nick said, like they understand 1031 and they're gonna take that advantage.
And if you're not familiar with what that is, 1031 is where you essentially trade in your assets. You buy at least $1 more in assets, essentially. And you essentially are able to continue to kick the can forward on your taxes. And it's completely reset if you die, assuming it's below the the millionaire's tax or whatever. When you
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
So realistically, like for somebody like me, eventually I'm going to have a ton of equity in a bunch of properties, and you aren't going to be able to talk me into seller financing for tax reasons, because I understand that I can kick the can forward on a 1031 exchange, if that's still an option at that point in time.
Yeah.
That's just part of the carrot I dangle. I mean, the other one is, of course, they continue to get payments without like the headaches of the actual rental. So that helps too, of course. Like a little bit of passive is never a bad thing. But yeah, I'm with you. I get it if it's not something that would make you bite on that.
Yeah. Although I like the strategy. I like that you're thinking creative finance. That's how I built my entire portfolio, through the creative financing methodology. I actually use seller financing a lot. I don't know who thumbs up.
What the heck? How does that work?
So it's the new Apple thing. It does automatic reactions. I've only learned this because
We didn't even do that though.
I know.
Dude, what the hell?
I do this for
That's to Nick only because he's Italian at his heart.
Yeah.
no, so I do these for Lauren's kid all the time, because she gets sad that Lauren's talking to me. So
Dude, that is sick. Is it just you because you're the host, or?
No, it's
Oh,
there you go.
what the hell, dude?
Wait.
You have a
Is
master?
Badass.
Nick has had it for a while because he's cool and gets like the updates before everybody else. But that update just came out last week for all of us peasants in the world that aren't Nick. If you've updated your phone or your computer, then you can do it.
God, I hate being a peasant. It's the worst.
I know. Me too.
Oh, Paul, what are you showing us? Are you showing us L Street?
Yep.
All right. Hey, go horizontal for us. All right, so this is a property. This is one of the first properties I bought off market. Damn, that place looks good. You have
Wait,
no
L
idea.
Street, is this Elwood?
No,
This
this
is
is
in
Bedford.
Bedford, south
Oh,
near Bloomington.
got it. Okay.
Oh shit. There's a wait, hold on. We got a smart lock on the door? Damn.
Just open up Paul. How do I pin it?
Yeah.
Yeah, pin him.
There you go. Pin this bad boy.
Oh
Dude,
yeah.
that's sweet.
So this is a rental grade. We're gonna list this thing for about 170.
That's it.
Paul's mad, dude.
Paul wants to get out of Bedford.
Hey, Paul, you better check that water heater while you're out there.
Mm-mm.
Better make sure you don't have a shitty pipe on it. That looks awesome, dude.
So this is the first one on this new crew we're working with down there. They did
That's
good
an
work.
interesting floor to ceiling window.
Yeah, the windows we left, so
So this is rental grade, you said? Yeah, it looks like it'd be, I guess,
Yeah.
kind of rental grade.
Does the water work?
Hey Paul, someone stole my my gas meter off Adams.
why don't you just let me take a water heater over there and go blow it up?
Yeah, seriously, dude. Just
That,
make sure it's the bad pipe.
Adams has been my lemon duplex for a year now.
Hey, Elaine, you got it? Anybody who wants to buy a duplex off of Brooks?
Yeah, 23rd Street or 23rd in Adams.
I'll give you 20 for it. Wait, hold on, Brooks. What's the address? I don't know if you can share it now.
2339, 2341 Adams.
I see some seams, Paul.
One side's done by Paul, the other side I'm finally got people to move out.
Seems where
You said
Bottom
2339?
2341 and no, hold on. Shit.
God, absolute worst. I think it is 2341.
I think it's
I mean, there is an address for 2341, so I don't know if that's it, but
I like those windows, man.
I love those windows.
I'll send it to you line.
yeah, no worries. Paul, that's sick, man. How big is it? It actually looks rather big.
so there used to be a wall like right here that came
Yeah.
all the way out. And then it went back in. It was just kind of funky. I don't know if Lauren, if you have pictures of it before or not. So
Yeah, I can pull them up. Let me
What's
see.
He was
left,
not
by the
good.
way? Is it just appliances? And then it looks like you're probably gonna have to put hardware, right?
No, we're not putting appliances.
Okay.
Nope.
Are you doing hardware or leaving the cabinets like that?
Leaving it rental grade.
Okay.
That's not compelling.
What, the water?
The water didn't turn on.
Yeah.
Cassie, hold this, will you, please?
Well, maybe the main line's off.
Was the water just off? It is winter.
Hey, Cassie. He's being a
Hey.
plumber right now. Can you show us what we need to see?
Gosh.
He was actually good.
Got it, Brooks. That came through.
Yeah. Paul did 41 and he's gonna do 43 here eventually soon
What's that?
for Adams, possibly, unless I sell it first and or blow it up, one or the other.
I think you should burn it to the ground.
Yeah, dude, just get some insurance money.
Every single time I go there, something's stolen or broken in or something.
Yeah, it's really
What do you
annoying.
think now? This is our new crew down there. What are you gonna send them back to repair?
Oh,
this is-
scary basement time.
Yeah, it's not that scary. We've seen worse.
Yeah, I know. Have fun with the spider webs, though.
No, there's been a lot of traffic down there. We're good. Hold on, let us see the new box, dude. Oh yeah, that's the stuff.
Really getting Nick going.
Spoken like a true real estate investor. Uh-oh, here we go. This moment of
Wait,
truth.
hold
dude.
on. Hold on.
This is the moment of truth.
Paul, check the pipe.
There is none. There is no pipe. All right.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's not bad. So this is one of the first direct to seller marketing leads that I got. It's a cool little lot, a cool little property. I got two houses with this purchase. The problem was I ended up having to evict this guy right after we purchased it, which sucked.
Yeah.
And
The good news is Bedford's pretty.
yeah, oh dude, let me tell you, getting somebody evicted in Bedford is the easiest thing in the world. I went to the courthouse. They're like, has he been paying rent? I'm like, nope. And he goes, great. Do you want to deliver the eviction notice? I'm like, nope. He's like, fine, it'll be on the house by the end of the day. And I was like, great, what are next steps? He goes, if he's not out by Monday, give me a call.
Wow, dude, that's
It
awesome.
was incredible. I've never seen anything like it. No, dude, just
Hey
a little-
Paul, if you stop sharing for a second, I can show the before video of what it looks like.
I don't think I'm sharing. I'm just
You
on
are.
video. I am.
Oh, no,
Oh,
you're not.
oh, yeah, I got you. You wait.
Paul, have her repeat that. It's like
Oh,
it's like
no.
music to your ears.
No.
Don't worry.
No, he doesn't get that.
Paul, just get the clip afterwards.
There it is.
Gonna be his ringtone whenever.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
You're right. Yeah, it's gonna be a ringtone. You're right. Oh, never mind, Paul.
Every
You're right.
text.
Oh, never mind, Paul. You're right. Oh, is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is what the house looked like before.
That's not.
Oh,
terrible.
there's the wall. Okay.
Well, and we added a bathroom.
It actually doesn't look too bad at all.
Yeah, not terrible at all.
No.
Who's doing the walkthrough there? Is that Wiley?
Ugh, dude. What kind of bathroom
Yeah,
is
it
that?
is. That's the
I
one that
hope
we
you guys
made
kept
into
that
a master.
bathroom.
No, we turned it into a full.
See if I have the
That's
other.
cool. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad though. What'd you pick that up for, Nick? If you don't mind sharing, I guess.
I think we bought that one for 60. So we bought both of them for 120. And the other
Okay.
one is a long-term rental where we got two people in that house that are gonna die in that house.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've kept it as a rental right now.
Yeah, Lauren won't let me kick them out.
That is not true.
I
They
should
are-
actually-
They take a lot of energy for.
Lauren's a bleeding heart liberal and is like, fuck these people. I hope they die in a fire. Wait, hold on, Paul. Wait,
Yeah.
What the
Go back,
hell is
Lauren.
that?
Go back. Lauren,
Go back. I'm going back.
I want to see the kitchen.
Yeah, and what's right there? What is that right there? Like a
Wait,
table?
no, I want to know where all these nice appliances are.
The ones that didn't work?
Stainless steel.
None of
Dude,
them
they're
work.
all
That's
new
got
stainless steel
stickers on it.
appliances.
Oh, Paul, are those the ones you sold me last week?
Yeah, that's it.
Wait, hold
Bang it
on. Cassie, did you put those in your house?
No. No. Nothing will ever come to my house from one of these houses. Nothing.
Well, you don't want bed bugs?
Oh, dude.
It's not.
So, Aline, I gotta ask you a question. You said you were in Brazil. Are you Brazilian?
No, I'm Venezuelan, but I live in Brazil 6 months out of the year.
Okay. Do you speak the language?
I do now. Yeah, I speak 3 languages.
Paul, you're changing the topic here. I want to know where those appliances are.
The appliances did
You gotta
not
tell
work,
Line in
Nick.
Spanish.
Donde está los applianzos?
You can send for photos, but I'm gonna have them come back for a few things.
Okay.
That fair?
Yeah, Lauren, do you mind texting Bob?
Yeah.
Take some screenshots.
Yeah, we do have it recorded. No, that's not how we're selling this. We flipped this thing. It looks good.
Oh, I thought you were. I thought you need shots to send to the contractor to come back.
Oh no. Paul. All right. It's been 0 days since my last HR violation.
Bullshit.
Where's your sign? Don't you have it in there?
Yeah.
This was Nick's
you
birthday
turn that
present
more?
from the team.
This was my
Wait, let me
birthday.
see. Let me see. 0 to man, dude. Is he a repeat offender? He's quite bad at it, huh?
Yeah, he's a terrible offender.
Hey, it wasn't me today until right now. It was definitely Brett this morning.
It was Brett this morning. It was no. You and Brett at the same time called that woman a stripper.
All right, guys,
I don't know if that's an HR.
if you hear that a woman's name is Candy, she's either 100 years old or what?
No, she's
A
just
stripper.
a stripper. She's probably a 100-year-old stripper. Probably what she is.
She sounds like a nice lady.
No, where Brett got his HR violation is that he assumed that Virginia was a stripper.
Oh, yeah,
One
you're
of
right.
our employees.
Oh my god.
Dude, Candy for sure.
100 years old or a stripper or both.
For
Candy,
sure.
we have since confirmed that Candy is about 90 years old.
Is she also a stripper? That'd be just like that'd
Probably
be a
in her
wild
formal. She
story,
was getting
man.
dental work done this morning.
She's just
at her
I'm
hip
not quite
replaced?
sure.
And so she's got great flexibility.
She's on the IR. She's on the IR.
And on
Hence
that note,
the HR
guys,
violation.
our wives are making us hang out later, so we've got to go. Dude, this guy needs to go shower. So
Shower.
have a good
Wait,
night.
before
guys.
you end the call, because I didn't wrap up on that. Paul, wait, are you Brazilian?
I'm Portuguese.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I was seeing your last name. I was like, wait a minute. He might actually be Brazilian. All right, makes sense. Are you Portuguese, or like born here of Portuguese parents, Portuguese?
No, born there, raised here.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome, dude. Well, actually, yeah, we'll have to connect later and chat. I'm curious about that.
Cool.
All right. Have a good night, guys.
All right,
Great
guys.
Hey
weekend.
guys.
Bye.